Back on the Movie Hero Network, talking some wrestling. It's the Lonely Marks Wrestling Podcast. Once again, a nice lonely crew this week, with just myself and Richie Goodacre. Should be back to the full crew next week as we get everybody back, start talking about our kind of year-end awards and whatnot, and year in review essentially, and then we'll have a pay-per-view to actually review. But I am here with Richie Goodacre. Richie, I know we were so far away just a few minutes ago, talking some movies over on Podcast League now. But how's it going, man? You ready to switch over and talk about some wrestling now?
Yeah, switch over talk about wrestling. It should be good. It was interesting going back in the Wayback Machine just to watch it. Thank you to whoever. I don't know who you are, mystery person who uploaded all this stuff on YouTube because WWE
Yeah.
doesn't think people are going to watch Velocity. But you know what? I'll want I think they should upload Velocity and Heat because you know what I do. I think that there's some good wrestling on there sometimes. So and but I doing good. I'll be glad to delve in and then do these predictions. It should be a decent show. Be a kind of a loaded show here and there.
Well, no, and what's interesting is that a lot of these shows, especially with AEW this year, that we've done watch-alongs and ordered and whatnot that we weren't super excited for, ended up being some of the better shows of the year. I mean, even though
Mm.
the previous one that we just watched that had that Swerve, Hangman Page match and whatnot, had
It's
had
probably
some
going to be that's one of the
match of
best
the
of the year.
year, maybe. Yeah, I mean, and that whole show had some crazy stuff on it. It ended up being like a really good show. They've had stuff throughout the year where maybe it didn't look the most amazing on paper, but ended up being pretty solid shows. So I mean, we'll see what happens. They tend to deliver, at least when it comes to wrestling on the pay per view. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. But we are so unless you had anything pressing as far as current news, again, I think it was kind of a generally slow week. We had a little, just basically this kind of build for this pay per view, but not a whole
Yeah.
lot on the WWE side of things, I don't think.
Not a whole lot, I don't believe. Yeah, that's not a whole bunch as far as I'm. She was just announced. I think it was brought today, I believe. That Sean Spears has left AEW.
Yeah,
Um,
officially, right? Uh-huh.
so I mean that's not that surprising. I
The
think he's
guys
just
whose like contracts expire, but we haven't seen them on TV in like 6 months anyway, so it's kind of
yeah.
not
I
that
mean,
surprising.
he's gearing up to have a second kid with Peyton Rice,
Mm.
and he hadn't even been used sort of sparingly. Surprised how much how little he used him. Like that he'd been a baby face. He came back as baby face, and he's pretty over in Canada. I thought he was in the 10 gimmick again. I thought you could get more mileage out of that. I think he had some upside, but I think people forget too that just because he only really sort of blew up in the last few
Yeah.
years. Sean Spears has been around forever.
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
he was in he was in like WWE's version of ECW for a cup of coffee. So he's been around for ages. He's in his early 40s, so might be looking to wind down maybe. I don't know as well. So yeah, but you never know. I don't think it'll be next year. I wouldn't be surprised in 2025 if he's number 10 again in the Rumble.
We could see, yeah, I could see him come back and do that
Yeah.
gimmick again. But then again, yeah, maybe he'll settle down and just do some indie shows and just take it easy, with the kids and whatnot, and just do his thing. But yeah, I did see something about that in the blurbs. But again, yeah, these people who haven't been used on television in quite some time. I mean, JPO is usually pretty good with if you were here pulling up their last like televised appearance,
I
and
think Cage match,
probably
yeah.
would have been like 6 months ago or something like that, on a rampage
Yeah.
or something.
I
Yeah,
think it was just because they're in.
yeah,
I think the last time he was on, I think it was just because they're in Canada. Like, hey, okay.
sure, yeah,
It's
throw the
like,
Canadian on there.
I mean, we'll talk about that. I think they're using them all now, but they used to only use Abaddon because, hey, it's Halloween and you got a creepy gimmick. There you go.
Yeah, no, we'll talk about Abaddon. Yeah, because she has an official pay-per-view match coming up. But yeah, I mean, not a lot going on. So I mean, we can make this a fairly short show tonight, and yeah, we'll just kind of get right into it. Yeah, well, we finally got a pay-per-view to look forward to this weekend. AEW World's End, not the film with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, the right film. I don't know if that's like copyrighted or whatever, but yeah,
Maybe because I got AEW at the front of it, maybe that might gets. I don't know if that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, does that
different.
affect it? I don't know. Yeah, but we'll see. But yeah, from what I can find so far, as far as everything that's announced, I'll try to go sort of what I think might be more of bottom of the card to top of the card, and we can kind of talk about this again. I'm not the greatest guy as far as knowing exactly what's going on storyline wise. I don't follow AEW from show to show, but I do watch the pay-per-views. So I'll watch the videos on the pay-per-views and whatnot and stuff on the pre-show, kind of get caught up. But, I'm aware of the personalities. But one thing that was thrown on there, AEW likes their battle royals, and apparently there's going to be a 20-man battle royal for a future TNT title shot. Hey, Jordan, we're just talking some wrestling. But yeah, apparently there's going to be it was announced a 20-man battle royal for a future TNT title shot. Participants to be announced. So it's whoever 20 guys we have, in the building, I'm assuming. So this is hard to predict because we don't know who's in it. Maybe they will announce some people the day of or something, but yeah.
I'll throw out a prediction just from the storyline thing. So to give you a fresher, I guess, the still doing that stuff with, Christian is shooting with Adam Copeland. It's getting very soap opera-ish. Like Christian had they had a sort of, big match for the TNT title in Canada, but then Nick Wayne's mom turned heel. And aligned with that because I think because the week prior Adam Copeland hit Nick did a concerto on Nick Wayne, but like he wasn't aware that his mum was still in the ring and watching, so it was payback for that. But I always thought it would be like a good payback for Edge if he did like a live like a live sex celebration and made Nick watch it. But he's also like Christian's also doing that thing where he's treating Luchasaurus like shit, or should I say kill switch. Christian kill switch. So I'm just guessing to make things awkward, maybe for some. Although in storyline reasons, but it happens all the time where the champion wouldn't want to win are in the battle royal for some reason. And so if Kill Switch is in this battle royal, I could see him winning it, and then and then you might build off that to finally Kill Switch standing up for himself, winning back TNT title, and then being Luchasaurus again. So so I will just say I'll give another prediction. I'll say
Luchasaurus. Yeah. I'll just throw a name out there. I'll say Brody King because that'd be fun. Sure, why not? Why not? He's getting over right now, and crowd has fun with him. So Brody King, and he's a big man to win a battle royal. I don't know. Again, this is hard to predict. This might be more of a bonus prediction if one of us is able to somehow nail it without knowing the participants. Maybe just get a bonus point, but not necessarily hurt you. Overall. So we'll just throw it out there again. We don't know. This might be one where we'll allow adjustments if they announce the roster the day of or something like that of the battle royal. We can adjust our predictions, but we'll throw something out there. But getting into sort of that's an officially listed match. Again, we just don't know the people, but the one we do know the people of, and there was a last minute change as of a few hours ago that I saw an article of, at least for one participant. There's going to be an 8-man tag as we're going to have Sammy Guevara, Sting, Chris Jericho, and Darby Allin taking on Ricky Starks, Big Bill, a substitution for Kyle Fletcher of Konosuke Takeshita and Powerhouse Hobbs. So Takeshita was subbed subbed in as an alternate for Kyle Fletcher in this match as of like 2 hours ago on their Twitter page or something like that in the graphic.
Fletch Render or something?
I have no idea. It was just switched out in the graphic. I don't know. But I just saw an article about that about 2 hours ago. So
Okay.
as of right now, this is the lineup.
That would be very frustrating for them if he is, because I'm pretty sure he did. I think he won the Ring of Honor TV title tournament. So
wow, okay.
You do this thing where Samoa Joe vacates it, making the title look kind of meaningless. You finally get a champion, and then he injures himself. But yeah,
I guess JPO wants in on this, so I'm gonna drop him a link. Yeah. So I didn't know if he wanted. He didn't say anything, so I'm gonna drop him a link real quick. But talk about this match for a minute.
Yeah. So obviously they had to change course here, because initially it was meant to be a tag title match between what are they called? The Golden Jets, Jericho and Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega went down with diverticulitis, so they can't do the tag match. I thought maybe. Given how it played out, I thought, it's probably.
Well, it'd be nice if you communicated every now and then, JPO, if you wanted to be on the fucking show.
You don't even drop the link anymore to the OG here.
Jacob
started this before Jacob.
Yeah, nobody
bored.
said anything for anything about wanting to be on these shows till the end of the year.
Oh, I'm sorry. I need to be asked to be on my own show now. How dare you?
But you can confirm something for me. Is Kyle Fletcher injured because he got swapped out for this match? Now
he shows up and he starts freezing. What a dick! What a dick! I'm nice enough to drop him in the link, and he just decides to pose for us.
He's
back. Yeah, you're back now. You had a nice pose, a freezy pose, where you're just doing this.
I know I started that, and then I never stopped for me. So whoopsie daisy. No, I have no idea. So is Takeshita replace him?
Takeshita replaced him. I saw an article about 2 hours ago that said he replaced him. So
I mean that would make sense, just because he was active, obviously doing stuff on Wednesday. So Takeshita is slightly the bigger name I think at this moment, though. So that actually kind of makes sense to me.
It's Kyle Fletcher, the TV champion.
Yeah, it stays up on your Ring of Honor, guys. Come on, it was $10 to watch. He won the Survival of the Fittest this year for the
because
TV
if he that'd be annoying if he's injured for the TV title. He finally get a TV.
It would be really annoying, because Samoa Joe didn't do a hell of a lot on TV, especially recently. Because I watched I subscribed just for the pay-per-view more or less, but I watched the last 4 or 5 episodes. I don't think Joe was on it once. Oh wait, he figured it in it too. Anyway, so maybe that's why it was on it. But, yeah.
By the way, the only thing you missed of this is they've announced a battle royal for a TNT title shot, but with no participants. So if you want to throw out a random name,
hold on, I want to hear.
As a bonus guest, we just threw out. I threw out Brody King, Richie threw out Luchasaurus. That's all we threw out there. So we have no idea. There's no participants announced at all. It's just
so this is for either Christian or Copeland.
Yes.
Jesus, and you guys said Brody and Lucha.
Do
you mean Kill Shot?
That's what he said. Kill Shot.
I went with the idea it would be Christian, and that would be sort of Kill Shot.
I'm gonna say Nick Wayne. Ooh.
Okay. All right. Nick Wayne. Okay. Yeah, this will just be cool. a bonus point if somebody's able to just grab it out of thin air, essentially, with no participants announced. So
he loves battle royals.
But yeah, I kind of went what might be sort of bottom of the card to the top based on what I found. Because I couldn't find a clean website that had good graphics, so I just made some banners. But yeah, we just started talking about this one. Yeah, Sammy Guevara, Sting, Chris Jericho, and Darby Allin taking on Ricky Starks, Big Bill, Takeshita substituting for Kyle Fletcher, and Powerhouse Hobbs. So yeah, we're just kind of getting into this one. So whoever wants to kind of go first. Go ahead.
You go first. If you
sure. So actually, I did totally. It's funny. You can ask Corey, guy I've been with for a little bit here, living with, and I predicted totally the Guevara thing because I was like, okay, who can Jericho team with? Well, Guevara can return just undo his heel turn, which is only like ends up being a few weeks, because he left to have the kid. So I just thought they were just going to do that and have that tag title match. But I guess we're going to postpone that and have this 8-man tag, which is fine. Doesn't scream pay-per-view for me, but it's fine. I think again, just keep the Sting streak going, make Guevara and Jericho look good for their upcoming tag title match. So yeah, for their face, for that case, Guevara, Sting, Jericho, and Darby getting the win here.
Yeah. If Kenny Omega didn't go down and it just stayed the tag match, I might have gone Ricky Starks, Big Bill to retain. But because it has less stakes in it now, I'll go with Guevara, Sting, Jericho, and Allen. I think it's just I feel like I guess the hands are tied. I guess they could have done a tag title match, but it just feels like a giant Dynamite. Maybe mid.
I mean, they do these a lot, these 6 and 8 mans and 10-man tags, and they're all kind of cool, but at the same time, I'm not over the moon or under the moon about this.
Yeah, same thing. My logic is just, we're leading up to Revolution and Sting's final match. I think they'll still give him some shine here. Let him get some spot. Let him get his spots, get a win. With his team, get his hand raised, and I think I said it on one of the other shows, JPO. I will be attending Sting's final match at Revolution live in Greensboro because it's about 3 hours away from me. So I'm going, and I've already got my ticket. So I will give you guys a live report.
Sting versus John Moxley in a first blood match.
Yes, right. Or apparently Sting versus Goldberg.
Goldberg wanted to do it.
Fuck you, Bill.
Yeah.
Give me another reason to dislike you. I already dislike you.
Yeah, right.
As a human too, I dislike you kind of.
Yeah, right. And apparently this match, which kind of came out of nowhere, but 6 months later, we're going to finish the story. Swerve Strickland versus Keith Lee. Out of nowhere, we're going to finish that feud that we kind of left on the table and forgot about.
This is a bigger extent of this is worse than this, but it's when Sky Blue finally turned heel, but it was right up ages after she got the mist in her face.
This is worse than that.
This is worse than that, but it's a habit of AEW forget their storylines sometimes and be like, yeah, that's right. And so I feel like this one's hard to predict. I thought Strickland would win the whole. I thought Strickland was going to win the tournament, but it's hard to predict because Strickland's on a hot streak and he should remain on a hot streak. It's sort of a bad time to do this match now too, because Strickland's on a hot streak. I don't think he should lose, but Keith Lee is needs momentum as well. I think you should have done the match when you should have done the match. Now it's not a good time to do the match. I'll go Swerve, but
Yeah, JPO.
I'm less complicated than you are. I think Swerve simply all day, every day. Could Lee use some momentum? Sure, but I don't think losing to Swerve is gonna demomentatize him any more than he's already been kind of, in this mid-card run of Lee's. And don't forget too, while Swerve didn't win the tournament, as he even stated on Dynamite, he didn't get pinned. He always has that kind of wrestling caveat of I didn't win, but I didn't really lose because of myself. Jay White did. Fuck you, Jay White. So I still think Swerve needs momentum. Plus, also, I don't think we're seeing Joe walk away with the title. So keep Swerve hot. That can be MJF's next opponent, as far as I'm concerned, for January. So I say Swerve. I think easily to me wins this.
No, I'm also still just on the Swerve train of I think he needs to be champion within the next several months. I think he's the hottest guy in the company right now. Despite the Continental loss, he still needs the momentum. And I just don't see any reason for Keith Lee to win this match. Honestly, if you haven't really had him showcased anywhere, he's popped up here and there. I think the match will be good because they're both good workers, and if they give them some time to work a match, they'll have a good match. But it's out of nowhere. But Swerve is just. He's too hot to lose this match right now. I think it would just be really, really weird to just halt his momentum.
It would be super out if Keith Lee won this. Yeah. And just for a fun little calendar check, they lost the titles September of 2022.
So it's even longer than I thought.
It's been more than a year since they were champions. They kind of reminded us back in July during that blind tag team thing and that's the last time they shared the ring. So it still took 6 months from even that to get to this match, and realistically, it took a month over a year to get to this match.
One thing we talked about earlier, I know you like to fact check this thing as well as what you
Yeah.
just did. We were talking about Shawn Spears being officially released, and then when was the last time he was even on TV with a match? Maybe you could try to fact check that.
He had the weird like Canada return, and
it was another one of those contract just expiring type things, but we haven't seen him forever anyways. But maybe you could fact check when the last time he even had like a TV match.
Speaking of random battle royals, he was in the All Out 0 Hour battle royal that Adam Page won back in September. And then before that, Battle of the Belt, he lost to Luchasaurus in July. Yeah, so July is still about 6 months before a singles match. Yeah,
right. Okay, so I was about right on with that. All right,
and that was the Canada one too. That's what
was Canada. I made that point. I'm like, they only brought him out to Canada. It's like, and I may mention, I'm like, we'll get to her above. Like, it was like when they only bring out Abaddon until recently. They only bring out Abaddon because it's Halloween. Like, hey, you're scary. Abaddon.
At least, they're keeping her in December. Actually, they're actually kind of using her for once.
I know. Now it's different, but yeah, like they used to just be like, "Hey, Halloween, Abaddon." But yeah, just quickly on the Keith Lee point, I don't think he's had the same momentum since like NXT. I don't think he's regained that momentum since NXT. Like he wasn't nowhere near the same on the main roster in WWE, and I don't feel like he's been the same. He's had flashes here and there in AEW, but I don't think he's been able to show, the prime Keith Lee on AEW as well. So I don't know. Maybe we'll get that at some point.
Maybe it's on time's out now. You don't derail, swerve. Kind of back on the Keith Lee train. And now, Shawn Spears 5 televised matches the entire year.
Holy crap! He was a Cody hire. Yeah, he probably didn't want to.
He was a good hand by Cody, and no one else thought he was a good enough hand.
Yeah, right. Next one we got on the docket here. We got Miro versus Andrade Elio, however you say it. I can't remember.
But you're just like Kevin Kelly on commentary. You don't know how to pronounce
it.
I don't know. It's Miro versus Andrade. I'm just going to keep it at that. I don't know much of the story behind this one or what's going on with them.
It kind of just boils down to Lana or CJ Perry wants to manage Miro, and he's like, "No, I want to keep that separate." She's like, "All right, fuck you. I'm going to manage Andrade." And he's like, "But I don't want you to manage anyone else either. I'm mad at that too." And that's your feud. All right, Richie, is there anything else?
Basically, basically, I don't know who I'm supposed to cheer for here.
That's true too. Yeah, neither one's really facey.
Is so a baby face or a heel? Yes.
Like
shout out to Barber.
Yes.
Miro had established himself as a babyface coming back, but also Andrade had established himself as a babyface coming back. But like Miro's kind of being a dick here and being unreasonable. But I can see, so I don't know. This is a bit weird. I don't know if there'll be much heat for this match because I think it's kind of confusing.
I think it's at least a good enough first time. I'm interested in the match. Yeah, is it the greatest story? No, but I am interested. It's kind of an interesting match on paper, at least.
Yeah. At least Lana's not getting married to Bob. Married, and then there's not a lesbian storyline. Yet. Lana, by the way, she's lucky to She has had a bad week. She had an infection and
she didn't lose it. She didn't lose that finger, did she?
No, she didn't. But she had an infection in her finger that went right down. But that could have been fatal. But she's fine. But it's so that would have been rough. But it's hard to. Just because she's only really started to do the manager thing. And if Miro wants to be separate, I would say Andrade wins this, just because I don't know, if you're going to do the manager thing, do the manager thing, and unless it's a way, unless Lana signed a short-term deal, and this is a way to be like, hey, no, you're not, well, I don't know, it's just so hard to predict. I'll just say Andrade, but I don't know a real big reason.
Their first singles match is July of 2018. They wrestled on SmackDown once, and just like that SmackDown match, I'm gonna kind of just piggyback off Richie and say Andrade here. Again, just kind of going by storyline logic of you could go either way as far as momentum is going currently. I think Andrade is because of the whatever classic cup thing. Has been on TV a lot recently because he was part of the the big tournament they've had recently. So I feel like he's kind of has a little more momentum going in. But because Miro again hasn't done a lot of TV. But again, storyline wise, I just feel like okay, you're starting this whole like Lana wants to be a manager and she's pissing off Miro. If Miro just simply wins, I feel like you're kind of cutting it off a little too soon. And so yeah, I'm gonna say Andrade wins. This could always be something we get a rematch for later or whenever. But yeah, I'm leaning towards Andrade just a little bit here.
I'll just be contrary just to mix it up because we've been the same so far, and I'll just say Miro.
Nice. Yeah,
no reason. I'll just mix it up. Just why not?
So Miro, not a super active guy either. I'm looking at him and literally one match in July, one match in September, one match October, one match November. Right. Like this will be his first match in an entire month.
I feel like the last time we saw him on pay-per-view with those watch-alongs was that 4-way match, right? Like the
him and Hobbs all out in September.
Oh yeah, they had that
right.
one.
Yeah, they had that one.
Yeah, it was a big, a big meaty match. It was really quite good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
then literally you have to go another year to All Out with the 6-man, and then it's that 4-way.
Okay.
Yeah,
only 3. That's 3 in a year and a half span, which is for
but the issue
was a huge signing.
I really want to I love Miro a lot, but he doesn't get enough matches have momentum. But I would love for him to be like a be factored into the big title picture. But yeah, he's just doesn't have a.
Well, that's kind of why I was going with the whole one match thing. I was like, you kind of need to continue that build. That's why I'm almost thinking Andrade because I think to me, I feel like he could easily be built to something more than Miro, who kind of seems to dip so much.
Yeah. JPO could fact check this one. As far as I can remember, the last time this title was even defended was Wembley, I believe, but the FTW title, I don't know where, with FTW rules, Hook versus Wheeler Yuta. Like I said, I remember us watching the Wembley match, they had for the FTW title.
You actually are spot on.
There you go.
No, back in August for All in London, which is 0 hour too, by the way. Yeah, no, there has not been a title match since.
Yeah,
was that just before?
Can we just kill this random title already? No.
Can we kill half of the 30 titles that are in AEW right now and just get rid of most of them?
Maybe the second women's. Then again, I don't want to derail the women. Everything else makes sense to me.
Well, the thing is,
maybe one less singles, but I don't mind for
but we're about to get another one with the Continental title. We're about to get yet another belt.
Let's even see what that is, because is that even going to be defended in AEW much? I don't know.
The thing is, Wheeler Yuta's a champion. I thought this was going to be a Ring of Honor pure title match. I thought that's where I was going, and then
that's true. I'd be more interested in that.
I thought okay, this would be Hook fits that mold as a pure he's got that type of wrestling style. Do a pure title match, do a Ring of Honor pure championship match.
I don't know if he has that much of a pure style actually, but it'd be interesting.
He could do that ground based. Quick judo throws and suplexes, and
he could work it. He wouldn't be out of place in doing that. But I
don't know, Richie. One time he did try to say in a debate Danhausen should win the pure title.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know much about the pure title then, so I was kind of
he admitted finally 3 years later. That's why I got the point.
Yeah, so I was kind of otherwise I would have definitely picked someone who was more. I forgot that I probably could have picked someone outside of maybe Ring of Honor too, maybe some. Anyway, cool. But yeah, I don't know this FTW title. I just feel like it. At least in ECW, it was just sort of just a prop, and it's like something for Taz to put around. It should just be a prop. Just put something on the hook. And no, shouldn't be
it's a good heel prop, but it's a weird babyface prop every 4 months. Come on, this hasn't been talked about since August. Who gives a shit? You don't even give a shit, Tony, because you don't have him defended.
The last time there was even a promo about it, it was the live Dynamite I went to before Wembley, where they did the whole where Jungle Boy, whatever, Barry was gonna take it and bury it, bury the title, and did a funeral for it or whatever. Yeah. That was the last time they even had it in a storyline that made any bit of difference.
And as far as I'm concerned, at this point, that's a babyface move. Okay, it was going to put the FTW title out of its misery, and we could stop fucking defending it. You could stop pretending that we cared about this belt. But anyway, I guess because it's for FT. If it was pure title, it would be harder to predict. But FTW, I'm going to say I'll say Hook. But if it was pure, I'd probably go the other way. But I think I should have been a pure title match because no one. Yeah, I don't. I'm with everybody. No one cares about the FTW title. Yeah.
Yeah, JPO, same way.
Yeah, I guess. Like this is, and here's the thing. Actually, like I don't even want to like bury the match because I don't mind this match. They're two good guys, on the rise. It's this whole title thing. It just, you know what I mean. Like I don't even feel bad saying I don't care because again, like how can I care when you don't have this thing defended in 4 months and it's a baby face? Like I don't know. So yeah, so I'll say Hook just because I don't see the need to have Wheeler have a second title to parade around. He's got a title he can parade around if he really wants to. So this just seems like another like we like these two dudes. Let's get them on the card kind of match.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what Combat Club baby faces or heels, just yes.
Yes.
They're really confused. I'd say Wheeler's kind of more of a heel, but like
Yeah, he's definitely established himself as a heel, but Moxley's
it's whatever they need week to week. Yeah,
whatever, and Danielson's
He'll probably be healing in this match because the crowd likes Hook.
for sure.
So
Yeah.
He'll be more of the aggressor.
And he's seen like a heel in the kind of promo leading up to this. So.
Well, he grew the heelish beard out. That's always a sign of a heel. He grew the beard. So as we'll talk about Spike Dudley on Velocity. He became a heel when he grew his goatee out really long. We watched
it was
Velocity.
evil when it got a little bit longer.
Evil Spike goatee. Yeah, we'll talk about that. I just it's Hook's title to parade around and whatever. I don't see him losing it for no reason. It's just a match that got popped up. Yeah. This week, so I'm gonna go with Hook as well. We'll get into the first of two women's title matches. So pop up Julia Hart versus Abaddon for the TBS title here on the show. Julia Hart's the champion, right? So there you go. But yeah, what do you guys think about this one?
Two allegedly, spooky women. I might say allegedly because they always call Julia Hart. They always allegedly call. They always call Julia Hart spooky when she's really not. She's just a hot woman in a witch's hat. It sucks. I'm glad Abaddon's finally getting like a pay-per-view match. They're really good. Because she's been on the roster for they've been on the roster for ages. I'm trying to do the gender pronouns thing.
Is Abaddon that? I didn't know that.
Yeah, she is. It's gender neutral.
You just said she is. We fucked up.
They are. Jesus Christ. Sorry.
Abaddon is non-binary. Okay. Whatever you were saying.
Yeah. They are. So, but it's good to see them on a pay-per-view card. I feel like they've been on the roster for years and relegated to dark mostly, and now it's on a show. Just you forget they're on the roster, but I'm glad that they're being used. That being said, Julia Hart just won the title recently. She's improving. She's probably on the list of one of the most improved. So I'll go Julia Hart to beat Abaddon. You don't want to take the title off Julia Hart that early. So yeah, Julia Hart.
Yeah. Piggybacking that, Julia Hart. I don't think her reign's done, and even if I felt like her reign could be done, I don't think where Abaddon is, it would be her. So yeah, Julia Hart.
Same, because I didn't know who Abaddon was before I saw this match announced. Legit.
She used to be like so. I mean, she's toned it down a bit, but I did say she again.
Yeah, I think you're missing a B.
This wrestler has toned it down a little bit.
They used to be so freaky that to the point where it was like they've toned it down a bit, but like they used to be so freaky to the point where it was literally just disturbing. Like it was really good, really good makeup. But my god, like.
I think there is a logic of even Chris Latner, she finally got pushed when she stopped being so I'm an alien now, and now she's just kind of I'm a badass, and that's what kind of works nowadays. I think to a large degree.
Yeah. But the other AEW women's title match, we got Timeless Tony Storm taking on Riho. I appreciated the you posted JPO with the Home Alone thing, the AEW Souls type of thing.
Being the Elite fun. Is now being the Dark Order on Mondays. They took over the Young Buck show, and I think that's the closer of this week's episode. Is her doing a Home Alone spoof.
No, that was fun. Yeah, I mean, this might be kind of the same round of predictions, but Richie's talked about it. It's like Tony Storm's kind of the best thing going in the women's division right now, the most entertaining thing. Yeah, I don't see why you would kill that momentum against Riho here. So yeah, I can pretty much easily start it off, and you guys, I'm sure, will follow. But yeah, Tony retains this and keeps the entertainment going, I'm sure. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. The Tony Storm's so entertaining, and so like I didn't realize how like funny she was. Just like she's just hiding this like part of her personality, and I just got it brought up in this character. Like the other day when she's like, she just has, I hear you're here in real estate. Yeah, the human duplex machine.
Mhm.
That's just such a lame joke, but it was just the way she said it was. Like she plays this character really well. She's getting over. I'm proud of it. Yeah, I'm so like happy for her. Yeah, 'cause she's a really good wrestler, and yeah, I think they're probably gonna do something at some point with Tony Storm versus like, can't even remember. Was it? What's that new like super fan supposedly?
Mariah May, yeah.
Mariah May. See, I don't even remember her name, but like, they've done a really bad job at like trying to explain people. That sometimes AEW just expects you to know who people are. Like,
And this is even more hard pull because this you have to know like Stardom in Japan. Yeah, I don't
yeah,
even.
but like she's from Stardom
Too
in Japan,
familiar.
and they've done no job of like, hey, they could have played like some sort of clip or something. And, hey, this is why I should care about this person. But anyway, the reason I'm going to bring her up is I think they're probably trying to build towards Tony Storm versus Mariah May, where Mariah May is but so yeah, I think Rio's in there to because Rio's always reliable to have a really good match. Yeah, she's another one that dips in and out a lot. I think because she lives in Japan. Yeah, but she does dip in and out a lot. So she doesn't get a lot of momentum on her side. I think some people like that. So like your Park or whatever, where they dip in and out. But yeah, so I'll go Tony Storm. I think she's still got quite a decently long reign left in her before they take the title off her. So yeah, Tony Storm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, JP.
Yeah, I mean, if we did confidence points, this is probably one of the highest confidence
You're right.
points. Because yeah, I mean, Rio again, good hand, good in the ring, but she'd get booed. I think if she won this title on Saturday, she'd legitimately get booed because Tony Storm, who I kind of thought was already the complete package, I think has truly become the complete package as far as the ring work's been there for years, and now the character is so fun. This is almost the opposite of what I kind of said earlier with Abaddon. The more she turns it up, the more I'm entertained. I'm happy to just see her talk on a show. Happy to see her wrestle. So yeah, there's no way this reign's coming to an end on this show, and especially to Riho. So yeah, Tony Storm.
All right. And we get into our kind of big three sort of marquee matches, as our headline in the pay-per-view here. We'll go with the first. We'll go with the Continental Classic final as it stands after Dynamite. Jon Moxley in the finals against Eddie Kingston here. I have a prediction for this match. Both guys are going to bleed a lot. Was that pretty spot on? that both these guys are going to spill a lot of blood all over the mat with this match and headbutt and beat the shit out of each other in this match.
Since there's a time limit, I say they bleed before the bell rings. They fight on the outside for a while.
Right, they're already bleeding before they even roll in.
Then they get in.
You know what? I that's not a bad prediction. Yeah, I can see those guys beating the shit out of each other on the ramp. Yeah, before even getting the ring. But yeah, that's my fairly easy confidence points all night. Both these guys bleed in this match. That's my 100% confidence on this one. But yeah, go ahead, guys, and you can kind of talk about, I guess, the Continental Classic in general, because you guys have seen more of it than I have. But maybe the tournament channel leading up to this. But yeah,
I think they probably did the Continental. I mean, they might have had the idea already initially, but AEW were getting criticism that and we talked about it, how that was supposed to be kind of the alternative to WWE in the sense that and more focus on wrestling and not have storyline matches. And like we saw with the Jay White MJF match, that was very much a storyline match, and it was kind of kind of annoying. So and then
that is one of their 10 least favorite matches of the year, and I'm like, yeah, can't fight you.
And then and then this Continental Classic comes around, which is strictly about wrestling, and you're not allowed interferences and stuff. I'm like, oh, maybe they had this planned all along, but I wonder if it's a response to people going, "Hey, why don't you get back to the wrestling?" But yeah, the wrestling's been really good, and it's a good showcase.
I will say something I liked about early AEW is it reminded me of early Ring of Honor, which was watch early AEW, not a shit ton of outside interference, and the last couple of years it felt like they've amped it up more and more every year. So
Yeah, so that was good. I mean, and you can still have stories interwoven in there without interference. I think they're using that as a crutch to kind of move forward storylines. Like you got your Daniel Garcia who didn't get like a win, but I think that's going to be it's going to sort of build him towards like being a massive baby face, or at least a big baby face, and kind of be leaning into towards being a more a wrestler than a entertainer. Although
yeah.
the dancing stuff does get over, so maybe
They seem to do the same tease with Jay Lethal didn't get a win, and they're kind of like making it show maybe he'll finally disband from
yeah, but disband from Jeff Jarrett and them. And I've always thought that like I mean it was entertaining, but like he doesn't sort of I don't know. Jeff Jarrett doesn't need to be on TV. But
I figure we're gonna end up getting a Jay versus Jarrett feud is what I think we're gonna get. So
possibly. But yeah, and then like obviously you had the big storyline with Eddie Kingston. I mean, we talked about I think he was confused about how the tournament would work out initially because we both swear we heard that he said he was going to put the title on the line
in every match that he had.
But
he definitely worded it that way at first. So either he was confused, or Tony Khan was confused, or they both were confused.
Yeah.
But now that you like when you think about it, like this final actually makes a lot. It actually quite makes sense. These two have a history that it's sort of been building for a while. They haven't actually because they were good friends. They haven't really touched. Haven't really been very hesitant to sort of exchange with one another, even if they're in the same match. So I think it has subtly been a decent build. I just say where you don't even notice. Like, what I mean? I don't know. I think, I think it was always set up for at least Eddie Kingston to be in the final, because
it would have been so weird if he wasn't. The way they made it, I'm gonna
it's like it was like
babies on the line.
Basically, his idea for the tournament, and then it was like his thing from the start. His promo,
and then he's one that ends up with 0 points.
Right.
Yeah, like that would have been really weird if he didn't make it to the finals. Like, that was definitely tailor made for him to be here.
So and I think they used John Moxley because I mean there's a storyline there, but they always sort of I think they recognize John Moxley as sort of one of the more reliable people on the roster as well. And this will be a good blood feud, but I don't see Moxley winning. I don't think he needs to win. I think it's Eddie Kingston's to win. So I will go Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting one to talk about and to predict as well because I kind of wanted Swerve as you said before, but I get hey, let's save him for bigger things. Plus Moxley is a good hand. He's like you said, kind of reliable. They seem to love him too. Put him in these big matches. But yeah, just the thing I look at is, and I could be wrong here, but because obviously they've done it before. Look at MJF being a Ring of Honor Tag Champion. Like I kind of don't want the title to disappear from Ring of Honor television. Are you gonna put Moxley on ROH every once in a while? Just save for pay per views. That kind of sucks if it's just saved for pay per views. So doesn't really have any other than that 6-man tag. Moxley has no ties to Ring of Honor too. He was in that 6-man Jay Briscoe tag at Final Battle, but like Kingston has more of a tie to Ring of Honor and New Japan. Well, not New Japan, I guess they both do. So I just don't really want Moxley to have it. I feel like he's had enough accolades, at least for the time being. I always look at this is the first ever this kind of champion. Let's give it to Kingston. Although is that kind of a whimper? Because now it's like, hey, Kingston wins the 2 titles he already had. Pretty much.
And he just adds a third belt to
Adds a third. Yeah,
yeah.
That title has been uncovered. If I was a heel week 1, I would have been like, hey, let's fucking look at it. But I'll say Kingston, although I'm not too confident in this one.
Imagine if they unveiled they did unveil the belt and it's looks as ugly as a Divas belt. You're like, oh no thanks, I don't want it. I'll just take the other two.
I'll get my own guy. We'll make a new one.
I mean, we've kind of been vibing on a lot of these, but I'll go Eddie as well because it was kind of his thing to win from the beginning. I mean, I get it, but yeah, Moxley is. I almost went with the logic that JPO said. With Eddie's more of the guy who shows up on ROH pay per views.
Yeah.
Who you can put in those like semi main events or whatever of like a Ring of Honor pay per view, and he's like kind of a draw for that, and could still be that. Yeah, Moxley. I mean, has he shown up on Ring of Honor pay per views? I guess maybe.
No, that's
the
what I was
latest
saying.
one.
He did the last
The latest
one.
one.
There was
Right.
a 6-man tag in honor of Jay
Final
Briscoe,
battle.
and literally
Right.
that's, I believe, other than like maybe some dark matches like back in the day, that's his only connection to Ring of Honor. He was never a Ring of Honor guy.
Right. Yeah. So I don't see that. Yeah, Moxley is a pretty high end AEW guy, and I think he still kind of will be
Yeah,
that
keep
guy.
him there, kind of.
Yeah. He's that guy. So yeah, Eddie's the guy who can bounce back and forth, kind of depending on what's going on. So yeah, I think I'll also go Eddie for that. But yeah, we got they're finally kind of squaring. I mean, they squared off. What was it, a few weeks ago? But for the title this time, no DQ. Not Edge, Adam Copeland versus Christian Cage. Don't you dare say Edge, announcers, Tony Schiavone, or any of you guys. But yeah, so they're squaring off here. Maybe some blood in this one as well with the no DQ stipulations. We can see that
for sure.
Oh yeah, but we'll see what happens here. But they're scoring up for the title, no DQ. What do you guys think? This one.
I've been liking the feud. It's been very soap opera-ish lately, but I don't mind it. I think Christian's been doing some of his best work. I think he's one of the I don't think I might be showing my hand here for next week, but I don't think he'll make my wrestler of the year. But he's in he's in contention because he's really fun. He's been very entertaining. I think he's great. He's a great.
Well, like JPO said, didn't he have, I think, for like heel of the year, maybe like a heel of the year type thing.
He's a great heel. He should always. He should never be babyface ever again. But I mean, inevitably, I think that at the end of their careers, I think where this ends up, I think Edge and Adam. I won't call him Edge. Adam Copeland and Christian will eventually team up and maybe win the tag titles, and then they'll retire. I think that's basically what it's probably going to boil down to. Probably not anytime. Maybe a couple of years from now. Maybe a year from now. I don't know. But yeah. But as far as this match goes, I don't know. I just think there's more you can do with like Christian as the champion. I don't think Adam Copeland needs about and I think there is that Christian Luchasaurus thing, which could be I mean, you could do that with this feud without the belt, but I don't know. I think Luchasaurus' run was kind of a bit disappointing. I think that you could, and then like he was always in the shadow of Christian as well. So maybe if you do it without being in the shadow of Christian, and then have Luchasaurus win the belt, then that'd be good. So I will go Christian Cage, but it could go either way.
Yeah, I'm gonna we're in agreement of too much tonight because I'm on the same vein of I think the juicier story is evil Christian retaining, adding to that heat, somehow squeezing, by because again, you have the option of Copeland wins, that's cool. Like, I don't know if he needs this particular title, right now and whatnot. And then he faces Christian again or some other heels. I think the cooler story is Christian retaining to a degree. So, we could definitely see it maybe going the other way, but I'll go Christian as well.
I'm going to make an interesting prediction. You know how Christian was declaring himself the TNT champion even though he wasn't?
Yeah.
And he was just holding the belt? I'm going to say Adam Copeland wins the match, but Christian escapes with the belt and still hangs on to it. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Adam Copeland wins the match and is technically the champion, but Christian and his cronies don't give up the belt and they run away with it, and he continues to declare himself TNT champion, even though Adam Copeland technically won the match. I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna say Copeland wins.
That doesn't get you a bonus point. That does not.
I'm just saying, but technically on paper, I'm gonna say Copeland wins.
I got you.
I'm going with him to get the pin or whatever, but Christian will continue to him and his cronies will steal the belts and continue to parade around and say he's the TNT champion and that you don't deserve it or whatever. So just keep going with that so they can still play with it.
Did you see the it's like a famous like video clip going around where a kid wants a photo with him and she's got like a toy belt. He takes a toy belt and like he wears it during the photo.
Yeah, right.
It's great.
So I can see something like that to where you still give Copeland the win, but Christian can still be the shithead.
Yeah,
I don't know. So
It's
I
I'm
actually
going to
don't
say
mind
something
that
like
idea.
that.
champion.
Yeah, that's my idea. So I'm going to go with that again, just to be contrarian, at least mix it up a little bit, so we're not all saying the same thing. So I'm gonna that's where I'm going to go. And then I'm guessing what will be your main event. You never know with AEW. Sometimes they do. They could do Christian
I could see Edge
Copeland as
and
the main
Christian
event.
ending it. Yeah,
That's what I
because-
mean. Yeah, so I don't know. I can't say the main
Yeah.
event for sure because we never know. But yeah,
This
AEW
could
title.
be the opener. To be honest with you, who knows?
Who knows? MJF versus Samoa Joe
I also
here.
want to end with some
So
devil shit. Who knows if we're gonna get
yeah. The question is, whether or not they'll do some devil stuff and do a revelation or do more
What was that? I
teases
missed
or
that. What was that graphic?
just Jonathan Beck
It's
saying
just
hi.
Jonathan
Hi,
Beck.
Jonathan.
Hey, Jonathan. So that'll be the big question as to whether or not it becomes the main event is whether or not they do some double stuff. I think
Because
it's the big thing.
Well, I guess the problem is whether if it is Adam Cole, then this is gonna unfortunately this devil storyline is still gonna drag for a long time. I mean, you could announce him before he wrestles, but then the blow off is still gonna go down still gonna be down the track because he's not clear to wrestle, and I don't know when he's gonna be clear to wrestle, and it's gonna be annoying. Just like so
The Devil's Masked Men, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish.
I think it's the Los Conquistadors.
So they hold on, Chaz, hold on. They rip off the masks to reveal the golden masks.
The golden mask, yeah, they're the conquistadors.
It's like a Scooby Doo thing. Yeah, another mask, another
mask, and we still don't reveal it. Yeah,
it's like it's a cane, and then
generic, super
right.
No, I mean I have more of a safe. I mean it's not an out there thing. I think maybe because I probably fill in. So MJF finally lost the tag titles. Great. And so because and Samoa Joe, revealed himself to not be the devil, but like he was working with henchmen, and the henchman won. I got more of a safe thing. Say those guys, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, I think they're the kingdom. But I think Roderick Strong is involved somehow too. But there's a lot of henchmen there. It's like when the Dark Order first came in.
And we'll probably never see that many reveals. We'll just
we talked about that and then we talked about the 8-man about Sammy Guevara facing heel willy nilly.
He was not heel for long. Yeah.
We talked about that.
He should be heel though. I think he's just and I'm sure he's nice. I'm sure he's a cool guy.
He's got that punchable face.
He's got a very.
I was saying.
Yeah, he just does.
Yeah. So, but yeah. In regards to this match, I mean, look, MJF is actually going into this match legit injured. He thinks he can get around it. I just think because you're doing that again, because you're doing this devil storyline, and you've also got you got all these other people going after MJF. You got Wardlow. Whenever that match is going to happen, you got there's a couple others in there. Like I don't know if they're ever going to do it. MJF Roderick Strong one, but he's in the mix, and there's a couple others that have made their intention known. So I think MJF wins somehow. I don't know if the devil is revealed. Maybe someone's revealed in that sort of party, but maybe not devil. But yeah, again, I kind of don't even want it to be Adam Cole at this point because we won't get the blow off until after he's back wrestling, and so this all could have been avoided if he didn't fucking stupidly jump off a fucking stage. But yeah, so I'm blaming you, Adam Cole. But yeah, I'll go MJF.
Just to touch real quick though, I thought that was funny looking at Sammy Guevara. I'm only looking at match listings, so I'm not sure of promos. He wrestled one match as a heel. There was the Wrestle Dream 6-man with him, Takeshita, and Ospreay against Jericho, Omega, and Ibushi. But he was still on Jericho's side up till September. So he wrestled one match as a heel, just to throw it out there.
It's like a couple who fight, get back together, fight, get back together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So as for this one, I think kind of Richie touched upon the point that they have definitely teased that MJF's row is not done. Still got to do Wardlow. Kind of weird if Wardlow's like, I'm gonna end your world. What, you lost? Oh fuck. Never mind. And also and there is something kind of similar to with Tony and even Julia Hart, their titles. I don't view this almost as like that big of a pay-per-view yet in a weird way. You know what I mean? Like I feel like this is December. It's their first ever December pay-per-view. They're kind of doing it just to do it, kind of like WWE does, you know. Although they skipped December, didn't they? Anyway, so like yes, I kind of just don't see Joe taking it. And now you could always use too, like because the devil maybe wants to be the end of MJF. You could even kind of do some sort of like interesting sort of like maybe the devil will be the one that kind of costs Joe, and MJF doesn't even know it. You know what I mean? To kind of keep Joe strongish if you want. But yeah, I just don't think the tail's done. Because also too, let's say Joe wins, is the devil then going to be like, oh fuck MJF, I'm going to go after Joe now? Like no. There's just more to be done with MJF, I think, on a couple levels.
But yeah, that wouldn't make sense because why would Joe be? Unless Joe was like, why would Joe be?
It makes sense for Joe because he got the upper hand. He got MJF to look like a fool and beat him up a little bit. But I'm just saying it doesn't make sense. That then like does the devil, because the devil I guess would want the title. I would imagine. I don't know if the devil just hates MJF. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I've been a weird guy that's like bet against MJF in like all these world title matches. The last like 3 pay-per-views.
Do it again,
like, you know what? Fuck it, I'll do it again. I'll say Joe.
Hey.
and because I want to see Samoa Joe and Swerve. I think that'd be a fucking great match. And I'll just keep tradition's sake, and I'll just say, oh, maybe this will be the one that they take the title off MJF because he's like working hurt and he's got 8 million storylines going on and too much belt.
I said that every time he defended those damn Ring of Honor tag titles. I was like,
yeah, no, I did the same thing. I was just like, yeah, put him on this, put him on the guns, put him on the other. Yeah. It never happened. Much like I never bet against Roman Reigns. It's like the opposite of WWE. Like I never bet against Roman Reigns in all the title matches. This one, I always bet against MJF in all of these matches to like finally lose the title. So whatever. I'll just so we're not again all exactly the same on all of these. I'll be the one contrarian to at least break it a little bit, and then you and Richie can either make or break your whole predictions because you're all the same on every damn match. So
hey, we're different on the Battle Royal.
Different on the Battle Royal.
Well, we don't know who's in the Battle Royal. So if everybody loses, you're still tied.
Our predictions, if some of our people aren't in it.
Well, and again, much like AEW, JPO can monitor Twitter, but I'm sure they'll announce 3 pre-show matches the day of. So we'll throw in some last minute stuff there.
We'll talk in the group if they add shit.
But we can do what we usually do, and yeah, in this case, I think we could also say both opening match, and I think you could say. Main event either of I think either any of those 3 that we talked about, the final, the at Copeland Christian or MJF could potentially be the main event. I think they're all kind of the marquee matches. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just write down what you guys think both for the opener and potentially for the main event because I don't know exactly what they might do for the main event. Yeah, I say it'd be one of those 3. So I don't know, Richie. What do you think could be both the opener and the main?
The opener, I think that they always like to open strong. I actually think they might open with the classic final. I generally do.
Okay.
So, I'll go that route. And say the classic final. And for the closer, maybe I'm just going for a how I'd book, but I think Edge and Christian has more heat to it, so I'll go Edge. I'll go Edge versus Christian.
Okay.
How shitty would it be if I was like, I agree on both?
Yeah.
Oh, sadly, I actually do agree on half. I'll change the opener though. Okay. I'll change it to the Sting and Guevara and
the A-Man.
I'll change it to the A-Man. Start off with a nice, kind of more simpler match. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because I think Kingston and Moxley is going to be more of a fight. Maybe put that somewhere in the middle. Although it could make sense for the beginning if you end with I said what I said. So yeah, start with A-Man, nice big Sting win. And then I'm still gonna end with Edge and Christian as well, Copeland Christian. Because I'm thinking it's no DQ. So again, we might see, you know what I mean? Who knows? Tables will I think we'll literally see some tables, ladders, and chairs. I think they'll do some homages to that. And I think it's your 2 bigger legacy stars. And I think there are going to be shenanigans in this. I think there's definitely going to be some shenanigans in MJF and Joe. And I actually don't think we will necessarily find out who the devil is. I think they'll just continue that tease. You know what I mean? So I don't think we're necessarily on the final chapter of that by any means. So yeah, I'm going to say, MJF retains. Well, I already said that already. But I'm going to say we're going to end with Copeland and Christian.
I'll say opener. I'll go with the Battle Royal, whatever that is. They like
Is
to
that for sure?
sometimes open
Not,
with
that's
Battle
true. Is
Royals.
that for sure not on the pre-show?
I didn't see anything that said
Okay.
differently as of
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
I guess
So
we forgot about that. That's probably going to
Yeah, that's a good call.
a good call. But
I'm
I'll
gonna go.
take it
Yeah. So I don't know, just to get everybody out there, and then I'll be different. I'll say the main, since it's kind of been the main focus of the last few months. And the thing everybody mentioned, I'm gonna say Moxley and Eddie close out the
okay.
show with a nice bloodbath wrestling match to end the show. So
You know,
and
I
with
can
all
see
the
it.
belts. So I'll just again be just for different sake, and because I think there's potential given the fact that it's kind of been the main thing everybody's been interested in, almost more than anything. I'll say Moxley and
Yeah,
Eddie
they
closes the show.
definitely have devoted, a
If you
chunk
go
of
with
their TV
MJF's
time to
logic, I want to go on before they spill blood all over the goddamn ring
it.
and bleed buckets all over the mat. I'm not wrestling on that shit, as he said in that one press conference. So there you go. But yeah, I mean, I think, again, maybe not the most interesting one on paper, but as Richie and I talked about before you got here, JP, a lot of these ones we haven't looked forward to have been really good pay-per-views wrestling wise. Like they've always delivered
Yeah,
and kind of over delivered in a lot of these.
we got a lot of interesting things happening here. I think we're interested in maybe some devil development and what exactly will go down there. I think we're interested in Edge and Christian for sure. You know what I mean? Even the Continental Classic, I think we're interested in. So yeah, I think there's enough meat on the bones here.
Yeah.
Even the 8-man, well, it doesn't scream, super pay-per-view. It's probably gonna be a fun match.
It'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
everyone's talented.
Just quickly, where the hell's the Acclaimed?
The Acclaim, not on your TVs much. The Acclaim, yeah. They got attacked. I think they only defended their titles once recently, just recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, no trios title
No,
match
they're
on the
out.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like one of the hottest, anyway, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of hot shows and show-stopping matches and big personalities, well, it's time to get into our retro review from tonight. Which
What episode is this? Oh, you got it right there.
we spun. We decided to just we just want to do something short because we knew we were going to do the predictions thing for a good chunk of the show. So we went back to the wheel of TV, JPO, and we spun the wheel of television and actually spun Velocity. What we watched was we found a guy, JP, on YouTube who had one long video of all of like a whole bunch of different months. So we would have like January, whatever, blah blah blah.
Oh,
and
really?
if you search WWE Velocity May 2005, there's a whole long video of just all the episodes lumped into one without the recap segment. So it's just the matches essentially.
Smart man, I like him.
So literally this show when we watched it, and I had to point out like the time code to get to it. If you find that video, JP, like I said, just search Velocity May 2005. You should be able to find it. It's like a 2-hour video. This episode starts at about the 55-minute mark.
Okay, yeah.
So you can maybe have it on the background while we're talking at least. But yeah,
you won't be finished by the time this episode ends.
You might be able to finish it by the time the episode's over because like I said, it's only 3 matches and a promo. So and a backstage promo, and it really was only about 30 minutes in length, realistically, because it was over by about the 1 hour 20-minute mark, something like that. But anyways, go ahead.
I was just going to say it starts right at that. So the episode before that, the main event is I think Lando Jordan versus Scotty 2 Hotty, and then the next episode's one you watch.
It just kind of starts. It starts the opening video, and then it gets going again. So about the 55-minute mark of that video that we saw. This is so WWE Velocity May 21st. 2005 is what we spun. We spun the third week of Velocity in May of 2005, I dug in and kind of got some background information. So this is from Sioux City, Iowa, the same place, obviously, that they filmed the SmackDown that week because they always film Velocity before SmackDown. This was basically the go-home Velocity, not really the go-home show because SmackDown would be the go-home show essentially, but the build to that weekend was the Judgment Day 2005 pay-per-view was what they were building to. Probably the most famous thing to come out of that was the John Cena JBL I Quit match where they both bled buckets in that match. Speaking of blood, very bloody match in that one. And
also Kurt Angle wanting to have sexual relations with Sharmell.
with Sharmell. Yeah, Kurt Angle and Booker T having a match.
I don't blame you,
on that
Kurt.
show. But yeah, so that was kind of the stuff they
You
were
were
talking
married
about.
to Karen at the time. Things weren't going well.
Right. So yeah, we got Velocity here. We have the always reliable Josh Matthews, the head of Velocity for much of the years.
Yeah.
And the rotating panel of color commentators that he had on Velocity, but for this week in particular, and I think for most of 2005, Steve Romero. Steve Romero. But he had other people. If you remember, he had Ernest the Cat Miller at one point, Bill DeMott at one point. Kind of a rotating cast of characters here and there as his color commentator.
Josh Matthews is now like in his 40s, and he still looks like he only like started developing.
Went through puberty yesterday.
He still looks like I would card him if I sold him a beer.
Right? yeah. But Richie texted me and said Josh Matthews is already starting to annoy me. he's very enthusiastic about his job, and he's very excited to be there. I'll say that he's at least excited to be there. I can tell.
Yeah. So he is. So, but yeah, like I don't know. Just the announcers were kind of just bickering all through these matches.
Well, that's what a lot I think of what Heat and Velocity was. They would kind of like if something happened in the match, they would mention it really quick and then go back to talking about whatever happened on SmackDown or Raw, that week or whatever happened on the pay-per-view, and bicker about other things, and then occasionally kind of check in on the match. I feel like that was a lot of these shows. It wasn't just kind of straight up commentary. But yeah, we opened the show with Eminem, Joey Mercury, and Johnny Nitro taking on the illustrious team of Jason Bates and Stevie Lee, your sort of jobbers of the week in this one. Taking on Eminem. I can't remember if they said it was for the tag titles, which I think they did. It was weird. It was for the tag titles, which was weird.
I was going to say, Cage Match does say this is listed as his match.
A tag title match. I don't know why.
That is because they were going to defend the titles on pay-per-view against, I think it was Charlie Haas and Hardcore Holly, which are both I didn't realize. I forgot were a tag team.
And so had potentially could if Jason Bates and Stevie Lee won this match, they would go on to the pay-per-view to wrestle Charlie Haas and Hardcore Holly, I guess, right? So theoretically, but okay. That was random. I don't see why it couldn't have just been just a match, but that was strange.
There was a point in this match where I think Steve Romero asked, do you reckon what's his name? It was Bates. What was it?
Bates. Jason Bates. Yeah.
Jason Bates. Oh, do you think Jason Bates isn't related to Norman Bates? And Josh Matthews goes, "Who? Who's Norman Bates?"
Oh wow, Matthews,
you're fucking come on, get up on your pop culture.
Oh my god! And then Steve Romero rightfully buries him for it. And then he talks about like how Steve Romero is like engaged at this point and going to get married. And then I was like, oh yeah, and then he's like, yeah, I am. He's like, oh, what's his? And then he just did jokes.
What's his name?
He goes, what's his name? And then he's like, but
because 2005, gay. Am I right?
And then he's like, but you can still appreciate Melina. Just because you're getting married doesn't mean you can't still look at the menu. I think that's what he said.
Gay. That was the level of humor. So, a lot of just weird back and forth, with Josh and Steve, just talking about other things other than wrestling throughout the show, but not as annoying as I think with the ECW episode we talked about with Matt Striker, and
I will not take this Matt Striker bash.
I'm sorry,
Matt Striker and Todd Grisham, the worst commentary we've heard all year in any of our shows we watched.
To be fair, Todd Grisham was Todd Grisham was probably worse, just as bad. So it wasn't just Matt Striker, JPO. Todd Grisham
was boring. Yeah, he was boring. Getting back to this match, so we get things started. Bates and Lee kind of take a little bit of early shine, hit a couple of double teams on Johnny Nitro, hit a double vertical suplex, leg drop or two, but Eminem quickly kind of takes back the momentum. Johnny Nitro did the thing he used to really do, where he did that kind of like breakdancing leg drop. I thought was really cool.
Remind me of Eddie Gordo from Tekken.
Yeah, he does the Eddie Gordo move. Yeah, he kind of does the spin leg thing and then drops a leg. I thought that was pretty cool. That definitely popped me. They put some heat on Jason Bates for a little while, just some spin kicks, a couple of double teams in the corner, things like that. Not much momentum. Stevie Lee gets a tag and eventually hits like one clothesline, and then MM immediately takes back the momentum, and then just do against some kind of roundhouse kicks and whatnot, and eventually hits the snapshot on Stevie Lee for the 3 count. Basically, an overextended kind of squash match, as we said. Bates and Lee getting a few moves here and there, but it's basically just kind of an extended squash. But again, I always like going back and seeing Eminem. A really good tag team around this time. One of the highlights.
I thought that they could have been like more sort of maybe remembered more fondly and highly regarded. If I think Joe Mercury's injury at Armageddon, I think that happened like later this year that we were doing, or maybe I think it's the next year actually.
I think it's 06. Right.
But so I think that just derails them a bit because they didn't have a proper breakup, whatever. But I think they could have had a longer run, and they would have not, they would have sort of been known as just they were already known as this really good tag team. But I feel like when people talk about Morrison tag team, somehow they talk more about Morrison and The Miz more than Eminem, and I think Eminem was a great tag team and a great gimmick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Richie just kind of froze a little bit, but no, I'll keep his thoughts going. Yeah, Eminem was a really, really good tag team that I feel like not has been forgotten, but could have been kind of.
Am I back? Sorry.
Yeah, you're back. You're sort of back. You're getting there.
I'm back. Sorry, I was cutting out. I just think Eminem could have had a better run and be known as these are the top of their era sort of thing, and then maybe down the line would be considered for a Hall of Fame induction type thing. You know what I mean? But I think their run got cut off short, but they're really good, and I think Joey Mercury was sort of instrumental in helping Johnny Nitro in his career too. So that's much what it was. I'm surprised that Bates and Lee got offense at all. I guess they had to get some sort of offense if it was a tag.
Usually the jobbers would get a few moves here and there, but it was very sporadic. It was usually right at the beginning, and if it was a tag team match, they get a hot tag, hit 1 or 2 moves, but get cut off pretty quickly. That's usually the formula that they did with a lot of these matches, even the singles ones. They would get a move here and there, but not a whole lot. It was definitely a 90% 10% match, Eminem offense versus Bates and Lee offense. But of course Eminem takes it and retains their tag team titles. I don't know how they did it, but they retained the tag team titles against this.
If you type in Stevie Lee wrestler, you only get that dude from Jackass who passed away.
I found him. Apparently, I did find his cage. I think he actually passed away, unfortunately, a few months after this of a blood clot in his brain, from what I saw. Shit. So I mean, sorry to hear that, but he didn't have a very long career, but said October of 2005. So sorry to hear that. Jason Bates had a cage match profile, but it was a very brief one. not much information on there from what I can find. So neither one of these guys, any of those kind of indie guys you would really know.
Fun fact about Jason Bates' cage match. I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
If you click it, it has my company on it, RPW.
Oh,
totally a different Jason Bates. That is a black man.
Oh, yes, so that's the same man.
So yeah,
no, the one we watched on Velocity was definitely a white guy, not a black man.
I'm watching it right now. Yeah, so that's why I wanted to chime in on that. I'm looking at it, I'm like, hey, different Jason Bates guys.
No, not quite.
Almost this entire cage match is incorrect because ACW, Tampa Bay Pro, all this Florida stuff is not that guy.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
So we go backstage real quick. We see Nunzio talking to himself, I guess, just randomly. Just singing the pizza pie song for no reason by himself in the locker room. He's just doing private Italian cliches. Funaki walks in again. When I saw this on the results, when I was
what do you mean? We all do it.
Pizza.
All us Italians do it.
You just sing it, right before you eat a pizza. Funaki walks in because they are tag teaming tonight because Babyface Nunzio is teaming with Funaki. I don't remember this at all, but okay.
I vaguely remember Babyface Nunzio, but
this had to be very, very brief.
He wanted to help. He was trying to teach him to speak Japanese, and then it was just like, it was like, it
He's
wasn't
just like,
working.
I'll teach you to speak some Japanese words tonight. And that was the extent of the promo, essentially. And Nunzio being like, "You're gonna teach me Japanese." Bye go. I
And
don't
I was
know,
like,
just
okay, I don't know why
being
we
an
need
over
this.
the top Italian guy. I don't know. Yeah, this was odd, but very short. But yeah, we jump right into it from there. I'm sure there was a commercial break in there somewhere on the original broadcast, but yeah, we jump right into match number 2. We have the team of Funaki and Nunzio taking on the team of Akio and Spike Dudley, evil Spike with his evil goatee, long goatee and short hair.
Akio, by the way, Jimmy Wang Yang.
Yeah, Jimmy Wang Yang. Before they let him be, Jimmy Yang. But yeah, no, I love Jimmy Yang. He's a great wrestler.
He's great. He's great.
And yeah, I wish. Yeah, I mean, I like the there was a tag team obviously with him and Sakota, around this time a lot on Velocity, and they were really good.
Sakota passed away a couple of years ago too, by the way.
Oh yeah, rest in peace, Sakota. But yeah, I really like their tag team because they used to have really good Velocity matches with Paul London and Spanky on Velocity.
Yeah.
That's a pretty infamous, like, I wouldn't say legendary, but kind of cult classic, a feud there where they had a series of matches on Velocity that I know people got really into. So yeah, again, some good talent here on Velocity. But yes, evil Spike Dudley with this very long, stringy goatee, hanging down his neck. That's how you know he's evil now. So around the time he was kind of off and on with the cruiserweight title as well, I believe.
Yeah, he turned heel by cheating to beat Rey Mysterio for the cruiserweight title at some point. At some point, then aligning himself with heel Dudley's, and then I think he lost the cruiserweight title at some point, and then he just sort of dropped down the card. But yeah, I don't feel like a heel Spike Dudley kind of works.
I've always said that because it's like I'm just not scared of Spike Dudley. It's just I get it, but I don't know. Me and JP have debated over this before, but it is. I just I'm in the same boat. It's whatever. But hey, okay, I get it.
The cruiserweight division, so I don't think you're supposed to be afraid of him. You're supposed to,
I'm just saying I'm
he's
not.
A bully.
I don't buy Spike Dudley's always just been like the. Hey, yo, Spike. I just don't buy him as like evil guy. I don't know. It's weird. It's an odd gimmick. I don't know. I think he's better as the sort of babyface giant killer. Underdog. It's whatever. Well, Spike Dudley putting heat on people is weird. So that's just my point.
So we'll probably get to it, but there's a point in this match where for some reason the announcers start talking about like the Ali, the Will Smith film Ali.
I have no idea how they got to that point. I don't know how and I don't know why they talking about Ali movie, which came out 4 years before this Velocity.
And they're talking about how, like, I know there was like going to be an Italian or a Mexican version. I mean, not like an Italian or like a Japanese version or whatever, and which prompted Steve Romero to go, it would be
Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ari. No,
yeah, I text you. I go, wait till you get to Steve Romero's racist Japanese impression that he does. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's because they mentioned Will Smith briefly because they were talking about John Cena's second album dropping, the You Can't See Me album dropping, and they talked about it being on the Billboard charts for CDs when that was a thing. Being like number 5 and beating, I guess, Will Smith and a couple other artists and whatnot on the charts. They somehow got off on a tangent about the Ali movie, which again was 2001. I don't know how that's relevant in 2005, but okay. That was what they talked about for most of this thing, which is weird. Anyways, we get things started here. With Nunzio and Spike Dudley kind of going back and forth, a couple of ECW chants here and there. They're trying to beat on Nunzio for a little while. He comes back with a couple of cradle pin attempts and a side suplex. There's a little double team on Akio. I wrote Romero makes racist Japanese jokes in my notes, just as a side thing. Spike gets in, starts attacking Funaki, kind of beats him up on the outside a little bit, throwing him into the announce table and whatnot, and the railing. They talked about a little bit about a little bit of backstory about Carlito taking on the Big Show, something about Matt Morgan being his bodyguard and a poison apple.
I
what? I forgot all about that. I have no
totally
memory of
forgot that
this.
Matt Morgan.
Of Matt Morgan being Carlito's bodyguard and Carlito spitting apparently a poison apple into the Big Show's face. I have no memory of this whatsoever at all.
Yeah.
But they were talking about that storyline for a little bit.
Yeah,
in this
I
match.
mean, I when they mentioned it, I'm like, oh, maybe vaguely remember. I think they tried to pair him up, like him and Melvin up for a minute. I think I don't know, maybe it only lasted a couple of weeks, but yeah, I was like, I totally forgot about that. And like
Yeah.
the poison apple thing. I'm like, did they even have a match at the pay per view? I'm like, I can't even remember that. match at
Carlito
all.
and Big Show did have a match at the Judgment Day pay-per-view because I looked up the actual Judgment Day pay-per-view.
Okay, I don't remember
so
the feud at all.
they have a match, so I guess it was a very short-lived feud. I remember him having that other guy when he first debuted. Who was the other dude who was like his
Jesus.
bodyguard when
Jesus,
yeah, when he debuted. Yeah, that dude with the suspenders and
yeah,
that
John Cena totally squashed when he had his first match.
Oh right, yeah.
His first and I think like last match, yeah, he didn't do much.
Right. So yeah, I remember that, but I had no memory of this. So anyways, yeah, getting back to the match, Spike puts on an FTF on Annunzio. Kyo comes in, puts on a sleeper, hits a couple of spin kicks on Funaki. They're kind of working on him a little bit. Nunzio is able to get a hot tag. Eventually, comes in and hits a spinning side slam. Hits his little kind of quick drop kick to the face that he always did. That always sounded really good because he slap his thighs really loud and do his little drop kicks and whatnot. He hits the Sicilian slice on Spike, but only gets a 2 count. Hey, remember when that used to be his finisher? Yeah, that was weird. But he can't be Spike Dudley with it. So Funaki hits a top rope crossbody to Spike. Nunzio gets jumps over the ropes and hits a little dive on Akio to the outside. And back inside the ring, Funaki gets the win after he reverses a Dudley dog into an Oklahoma roll for the 3 count. So Funaki wins the match. So there you go. Chalk one up for the record books. Funaki winning one here on Velocity. So yeah, I mean, not a bad little match. A decent little quick tag match.
I believe towards the end of the year he wins the cruiserweight title.
Yeah, I know he did at one point. Yeah,
actually,
for a little bit.
Into last year, I think Funaki beat Spike for it. I think that was
Sure. But yeah, he gets the win here on Spike Dudley. So yeah, any overall thoughts on this segment and this match, Richie?
Yeah,
it's not bad.
It's not bad. Maybe had, I don't know, like high expectations given who was involved. I don't know, like Spike wasn't like the most maybe athletic dude. But I don't know. I just thought like you see, like Nunzio was involved in a lot of some of the better Velocity matches. Like if I'm disappointed we didn't get like spin one of those. But he had really good matches with Super Crazy. But
oh right, yeah.
Make sure we get to.
Or if we had spun one of those like Paul London, Jimmy Yang matches, or something like that, or so one of those Spanky, or even one of those random ones. Remember when Benoit and Regal had a couple of Velocity matches here and there, and had some amazing matches on Velocity like 2 or 3 times. I remember one of them specifically, and I've referenced this one a lot. There was one I just remember where they do the headbutt spot, of course, to bust each other open, and Regal, of course, gets busted open because they always used to just do that for real and just cut each other. And then I remember once he was bleeding, Benoit chops him a couple of times, but then all of a sudden just chops him in the forehead. Chop Regal just right in the forehead. Boom! Just chops him right in the forehead and his bleeding. I just thought, I was like, what? I've never seen that before. He chopped him in the head. That was amazing.
I remember like in WCW they were talking about how Benoit maybe last time when they wrestled they broke Benoit broke Regal's nose and and then like immediately at this at the beginning of the sort of rematch whatever pay-per-view, like Benoit headbutts him and then the camera pans like does a wide shot, like tries to pan away from it because he immediately breaks his nose again. The very start of the match just goes
boom. Yeah. No, yeah. But yeah, I can't recommend those Velocity matches if you can find them. I'm sure they're online, but on YouTube, yeah, those couple of ones that they had were great. So there you go. But yeah, not a bad little tag team match, not very long, but not boring, some decent stuff. And yeah, again, no recaps here. Everything's kind of streamlined. So the next thing we see is Paul London coming out. He's in his street clothes though, because he's going to join the commentary table for our sort of main event here on Velocity, because because he's the current cruiserweight champion, and he is scheduled to face one of the participants in our main event here. He's scheduled to face Chavo Guerrero at the Judgment Day pay-per-view. The story of that match is that Paul Lund has never beaten Chavo, so Chavo seems to have the advantage going into the Judgment Day match, having Paul Lund never been able to get him.
I always like Paul London entrance, like he just run full ball to the ring.
Yeah, he do that goofy like couple of steps, big high steps, at the entranceway, and then just take off to the ring and slide in there on his knees. Yeah, it was always fun. I liked his music too. He had good music. Speaking of good music, I always like Shannon Moore's music too. That like that was really good music too. I really liked his music. But this is I should say Chavo Guerrero. So yeah, we got Chavo taking on Shannon Moore, and this is Mohawk Shannon Moore. Not quite as high as he had it in WWECW. About a year from now. Yeah, but he does have the shorter mohawk going here. He's got the spiky shoulder pad things going on, so he's definitely being like weird Hot Topic Shannon Moore here in this matchup. But yeah, we got Chavo versus Shannon Moore here. Chavo kind of gets the early advantage, hitting a couple of suplexes, some European uppercuts. Shannon Moore fights back with a couple of submission attempts, but Chavo kind of powders out of the ring, gets to the ropes, things like that. Again, the announcers are asking Paul. Oh, there you go. Little Chavo. Did you ask him about the Iron Claw?
I did, and according to Chavo, it is the greatest wrestling movie he's ever seen.
Debatable. I still might prefer the wrestler with Mickey Rourke over the Iron Claw, but we'll see.
I'll know this week, hopefully. I'm sadly have not seen it yet.
You can go back to last week's Lonely Marks where I reviewed the Iron Claw.
I'll do it after. I don't like to get opinions before.
Sure, yeah, no, you can if you want to do a quick review after this. Yeah, you're welcome to do so. I myself reviewed it last week, so I'll leave it for that. But yeah, Shannon Moore kind of gets some momentum back, hits a couple of clotheslines, hits a big back drop. He hits
the same shirt.
Yeah, I think you are.
I swear I've changed since November.
It could be a situation, JPO. Do you have a closet like Ernest P. Worrell where it's just 10 of the same shirt? I mean, it could be that situation.
I did lose a lot of clothing. I really am down to
or like Jeff Goldblum in The Fly, where you just have 5 of the same suit. Like that's fine. You don't have to think about it.
For this case, sure.
Yes,
I know you're about to say it. He hits a move.
He hits the Morgasm.
The Morgasm, and then Paul London goes, "Oh, the Morgasm!"
Morgasm,
and he gets a 2.
Yeah, and he gets a 2 after the big Morgasm neckbreaker. Yes, I forgot about the Morgasm. But it's basically just kind of a flipping sort of blockbuster neckbreaker type thing. Shannon Moore hits a top rope cross body, but Chavo is able to kind of fight back a little bit on the outside, brings him in, hits a big lariat, kind of punt kicks him almost in the head, almost Randy Orton style, right in the head, and then hits the gory bomb. A really bad looking gory bomb, by the way. Shannon Moore kind of, I don't know, didn't have a very good landing on that one. Very well. But yeah, hits the gory bomb for the 3 count. So your thoughts on this one, Richie? Again, not bad, but not great either.
You can't go wrong with good cruiserweight match. Again, this is a sort of a show where I'm like, I feel like there's a bunch of people in here that could have had bigger careers. I always liked Shannon Moore. I don't think he ever won the cruiserweight title, did he?
I don't think so. No, I don't even think he won like the tag title. Did he win the tag titles with Matt Hardy? Maybe once. Maybe.
No, I was actually gonna say Shannon Moore has like a weird Not weird. He has never won anything outside of the WCW Hardcore title for 20 days. Jesus. Yeah, not a single WWE title, not a single regular WCW title, not a single TNA title. Yeah,
I thought he was gonna they were giving a big when he first came into Impact. I think he was getting a decent push. He had his first match was AJ Styles.
Yeah, they pushed him at first, and there's even the Ink Inc. tag team with Jason Neal.
Yeah, I thought they'll get tag titles. They're a good tag team. I don't know.
RPW alumni. I never gave him a title. So.
Oh my god! So you're part of the problem. Yeah, there's a funny part of this. So when the match ends, right, and I think Josh Matthews and Stephen Ray trying to wrap up everything, but Paul London won't stop interrupting them. Go, yeah, you want, sir? Oh, yeah, like they're just talking at Chavo, but the announcers are still trying to wrap up
the broadcast. Yeah.
But Paul London won't take off his headset, and so it's really funny.
That would be the point where Paul London would stand up from the thing without his headset and taunt Chavo, and while the other guys wrap up the show. But he keeps his headset on. Yeah, keeps yelling at Chavo. Yeah, they can't. Yeah. I think they just cut off the broadcast. It just kind of ends. Yeah, very awkward.
Yeah. But this match is fine. Yeah, decent velocity match. But yeah, it's sort of like where like I love the cruiserweights, but yeah, it sort of is a cruiserweight staple velocity.
I was just going to let people know kind of some of the noteworthy storylines around this time. Again, we talked about the Judgment Day pay-per-view. This was kind of the beginning of the Eddie Guerrero turned back heel, against Rey Mysterio, which would eventually lead to their infamous ladder match for the custody of Dominic, of course, little Dominic Mysterio. That had kind of started about a month before this, and Judgment Day would be their first singles match they would have with kind of heel Eddie against Rey. Like I said, John Cena and JBL kind of going back and forth. They would have their I Quit match where they would both bleed a lot, and John Cena would threaten to hit him with like a pipe, and JBL just
to a thing, and he's like, "Oh no,
I quit, I quit," and then he hit him anyways. What an asshole that John Cena. And then kind of the big noteworthy thing that would happen about 2 weeks later, Richie, was the infamous when they had the draft lottery where John Cena went to Raw and was the first draft lottery pick. If you remember the highlight reel,
oh my god,
it's John Cena. So it was that. Yeah, Cena went to Raw. I believe Kurt Angle also went to Raw in that same draft lottery, and
it's obvious. It's cool when that happens, but it's obvious. It's like okay, well, they're not gonna. SmackDown's not going to have a champion, so it was obvious that Batista was going to go to SmackDown, which happened.
Right, yeah, and Batista went to SmackDown and would kind of become the big dog over on SmackDown after that, and it would have kind of a lot of the big main events going forward. That was kind of the stuff kind of going on at the time, just for a little context there. But not a watchable, as with most Velocities, it was a very watchable show. I used to tune into it a lot on Saturday nights because what else was there to watch on Saturday nights? We didn't have WCW Saturday night anymore, and I watched Velocity because I like the cruiserweights, and most of the time it had at least one or two decent cruiserweight matches, so I would always watch at least for guys like Paul London or Nunzio, who I really liked, or Jimmy Yang, and some of those guys. So
weird Frankie Kazarian run is I think Velocity exclusive.
Oh, that's right. He never made it to the main.
Hey, does anybody remember the fact that Mr. Anderson, aka Mr. Kennedy, started his run on Velocity? Anybody remember that when he started doing that on Velocity before he got bumped up to SmackDown? I remember that. And he started doing something. Yeah, I remember. There was some decent stuff on Velocity, and I like this. I wish, we were talking about this, Richie, that JPO, we wish the network would actually upload all the heats and velocities.
I went to Peacock at first,
No, they've only got like 4 velocities on there. They got a heat. They only have like the first 2 years of it. I wish they would go back. Maybe it's a rights issue with Spike TV.
You sure shit ain't doing much new content lately? So
get
I don't know. Well, why would they be able to air other episodes? And I don't think any of those contracts, because lapse anymore. So I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. I like to see it because I wouldn't mind going back and watching a few of those things here and there. But overall, any final thoughts on this one, Richie? Yeah, again, a watchable episode of Velocity.
It's a watchable episode.
That's fine.
When Velocity aired here, it was like during the day, probably on a Saturday. So I would check it out if I was had time at home and flicking channels. I'm like, I'll see something on. It was largely inoffensive. It's just fine. There's nothing. It just matches. And they're usually pretty good people who weren't booked on the show on SmackDown. I guess if I was just pointing at one thing, it was just it was one of those things where I wonder if we'll see a jobber that became a big star after
which occasionally we did. I mean, Bryan Danielson was on there a couple times early on in 03, 04. John Walters was on there at one point. A few guys would pop up kind of here and there on Velocity.
I think the Young Bucks, at least Matt Jackson, I think was one. I think it showed up on there one time. Yeah, so yeah, but like on this episode we didn't really, but like
Get
that's
some
why.
Gunner Scott in your lives.
Oh yeah, Brent Albright.
I do remember I went to a SmackDown used to come to Jacksonville a lot, and every time they were running Jacksonville, they'd always have Florida indie guys. I know Steve Madison had a match with Hardcore Holly one time that I saw. Came out and wrestled him. The Shane Twins before they were the Gemini, or had a match with some tag team, and kind of did their thing. Yeah, they usually have a couple, at least local guys, every time they roll through Jacksonville or Orlando or something like that I would recognize at the time. So yeah, no, not a bad little show. So I was always, I think I was one I went to where Spanky ended up having a match with with Hoovy or something when they were doing the Mexicools thing. And then but Spanky hadn't been on TV in like 6 months, and all of a sudden he showed up and had a match on Velocity, and we were all like, hey, Spanky. All right, nice. Cool. Yay. This should be good. And we were all very excited, but just out of nowhere. But yeah, not a bad little show. So yeah, it was fun to kind of go back and just watch a random Velocity. So yeah, and props to the guy. I'll try to give him credit in the description down here. But yeah, who's uploaded these chunks of months of Velocity.
Al Balog, ALBALOG.
Al Balog. Well, there you go, man. Thanks for uploading all these without the recaps. I appreciate that. Just the matches.
Recaps. I like that. The cab matches and any backstage shit. I like that actually.
Yeah, no, good stuff there.
That's good, man. Thanks.
Thank you. So yeah, that'll do it for that. Yeah, JPO, you alluded to it. You want to give us a quick Iron Claw review? I guess you checked that out.
Oh no, I said no. I was saying this week, as in like I'm gonna see it this week.
You're gonna see it this week. Okay, I thought you said. I missed that. I thought you said you.
I thought I would have had it done yesterday, but plans fell through because I'm itching to see it. If you can, please, because I guess like the box office wasn't as good as it was, and I definitely would like to see more wrestling movies. So see it, people.
It's getting good reviews though, so it's at least getting good critical reception.
It is, and I think it'll be
enjoying it. Yeah,
I think it'll be a good VOD movie, and I think the box office isn't great. I think the box office will maybe not necessarily pick up too much. I think we'll stay solid at least where it is. I don't know. We'll see.
But yeah, I guess it'll eventually show up on Max with the deal with A24 that they just did. So I'm sure it'll show up on Max at some point. Maybe get more eyes on it as well. So
yeah, I think it'll be a strong streamer.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, there we go. That'll do it for this week. Next week, hopefully, we'll have the full crew back as we'll talk about AEW's World's End. We'll probably do our watch along on Saturday night as we usually do. Yeah. For anybody who wants to join in, yeah, I got you, JPO. It's fine. I got you. We do it legally. We just all watch together. It's like a watch party. It's fun.
Watch party, baby.
Yeah, it's a watch along. Richie, you gonna join us for that? You gonna watch it? Yeah. All right, cool.
I'll join.
We'll do the thing, and then we'll start gearing up for I don't know how you want to do it, if you want to do it with that or if you want to kind of split it up into 2 shows or do all one show after that, JPO, like the end of the year.
It's up to you guys. I mean,
whatever you want to
do. You could do 2, make it the second week if you want. Whatever's gravy.
We'll talk about it behind the scenes and see what we want to do. Yeah, if we want to do a couple, maybe on this one and a couple on the other one or something like that, we'll figure it out.
Too. We could always split.
There's
up. Options.
Sure, but we'll definitely talk about World's End. We'll start getting into some of our end of the year recaps and awards and whatnot. And that's what we got coming up in the near future. And then after that, we'll kind of be building to the Royal Rumble.
That'd be cool.
Coming up
we don't need to do predictions for that. Y'all saw the sheet leak, right? The end, the results leaked.
Oh no! What happened? What was that?
It's mostly bullshit, or it's all bullshit. But no,
I think that happens every year.
It happens every year. Somebody got a picture of the card in somebody's office.
Yeah, supposedly, the entire 1 through 30 is out. Xbox number 7. Carmelo Hayes is 14. Who was in the women's? That was kind of weird. Deonna Purrazzo was on the women's list. They had Bailey winning that, and they had Punk winning the men's. So those are your winners for the Rumbles here.
Okay, good. Bailey. So. All right, your predictions for a Rumble are already done. Cool.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that eventually. But
it looks like I'm meeting myself.
Yeah, right. Hey, you're really still trying to butt in and get some quick plugs in for RPW or something like that. Scooting up behind you. But yeah, speaking of that, JPO, anything you want to plug before we get out of here? What you got going on?
Hey, speaking of RPW, our first show of the year, January 12th in Fort Myers, starring me and other people. I guess there'll be wrestlers there too. But
hey, I'm doing a show the night after that up in Jacksonville.
In Jacksonville, yeah. What show? What company?
The USWA Don Curtis Memorial Cup Tournament. That's
a yearly thing. That's pretty cool.
It sure is.
Hey, and speaking of Florida wrestling, starting January 1st, the Florida 100 will be released.
Oh boy,
10
that's
entries at a time.
always lots of comments on those.
People
I'm sure
love the
it'll be
100.
lots and lots of fun.
So can't wait to see what people think about this.
I'll be popping my popcorn as you release each of your posts about that.
So that'll be fun. That'll be coming out here too. And yeah, hopefully, well, if we do this on a Thursday, I might be in my new place. Hopefully the internet's good. So we'll see how that works, and maybe get back to kind of semi-normal and whatnot. So yeah, over at the Pierce Co and Pierce Wrestling and as well.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. So Richie, what you got going on?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'll be on. I think the most anticipated
Tomorrow night.
2024 tomorrow. Is that tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow night.
Yep, sure is.
Fun. Hopefully, the majority of those movies come out in 2024.
For the stream, I'm gonna literally make a banner that I will pop up, for almost every match. I will say, "Caution: these movies might not come out this year."
That's tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it's tomorrow. Yep,
yeah, I'll see you all there.
And a little earlier. We're gonna go at about 6:30 is what they're talking about, just to accommodate Malcolm, because Malcolm spent a lot of time putting this one together. He's got graphics with kind of a brief plot synopsis for each one and a few little facts about each movie, for our thing. So
you say 6:30?
A little earlier than usual, 6:30 Eastern. So, then we're normally go. So, yeah. There you go.
But yeah, got that going on. Yeah, pretty much. T-Ranker, the Lonely Marks. This, I'll be getting back in the Battleground when that starts back up. I think another Lonely Mark is in my crosshairs. Anyone that's not on the stream at the moment, and so that should be fun, and and that I got apparently didn't even realize this was happening, but I've got a Full Metal singles match coming up soon, I guess, versus Dan Skip Allen. So I'm looking forward to hopefully defeating him. Sorry, Dan, if you're watching.
I'm still in that tournament somewhere. I got a match coming up at some point.
Yeah, and
talking the Malcolm's thing.
Yeah.
I'm still alive too. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got 2 down and I'm still going. So yeah.
You might see me co-hosting a decent amount of matches on random. I message him to help him out. And I'm like, I just feel like you've got a lot on your plate, man. Do you want to, with this tournament that seems to be going on forever. So do you want me, so yeah, I might sort of help out there. So obviously not with matches I'm in, that'd be a bit unfair. So I got a few things going on here and there, and then
I already updated it. So there's a tournament Friday. And then, of course, Saturday, AEW pay-per-view. And then let's not forget Sunday is New Year. Oh, wait.
Oh, whoops. That was the show. Well, you got to ring in the New Year somehow, right?
3,
2, 1. It's like those JOI countdowns on Pornhub. You know what I mean? Don't do it until it says 3, 2, 1.
I actually, it's weird. I have jerk it on every single day on my calendar.
Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, right. Only on days ending in Y. Yes.
But yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, okay, that's a plug. Hey.
There you go. Yeah.
Hey, next episode of Velocity. Looks like Michelle McCool is doing some ring announcing.
Okay. That's random. Is it better than Deborah was it Deborah McMichael doing ring announcing?
I have it on mute, so it sounds good to me.
Or when Sable did it one time back in 1998, and she looked bored out of her skull introducing the oddities. Yeah, that was always good. As far as kind of what's going on in the Movie Hero Network, myself, Richie, Wolfman, and Jordan just taped our last episode of Podcast League Now, talking about those movies that didn't quite make our top 12, so those honorable mention type movies. But shout out a lot of good stuff, give you guys some recommendations. So that'll be up on the channel for at least a week or two before we move over to the Patreon, patreon.com/movie hero. So you can check that out. And stay tuned kind of throughout the month of January. We'll be doing a lot of sort of year-end wrap-up shows here on the Movie Hero Network. So a lot of them should be fun. We'll be doing. I think we're talking about it the week Jordan's gone. Me and Richie, JPO. If you want in on this, we're going to do our official top 12 worst of the year. If you want to jump in on that,
Oh, please.
Yeah. So if you want to jump in on that on the week Jordan's
What's the date
gone,
of that?
we don't have like an
We'll look it up
official
later?
date, but probably the
okay.
week of like maybe the 17th, or we could do it the 18th before Lonely Marks, something like that. We could jump in and do that.
All right. Let me know.
That's what we're thinking
Either way.
about. Maybe before Lonely Marks on like the 18th or something like that. We could jump in and do that.
Yes.
But yeah, we figured you
We
wanted
might have
on
a few
that.
crossovers because you may be aware of a lot of shit.
Yeah,
Well, me and
yeah.
you just talked about something we agreed on, yeah.
But yeah, we'll do a little round table. We'll actually do like an official kind of top 12 just for fun, put together top 12 worst of the year. And we'll do it like in the style of a best of, punt that for later, that sort of thing. Yeah, we'll do that and talk about some worst of the year. So we'll do that. But then we'll get back into the best of the year. The week of the 22nd of January, we'll begin our 2023 ladder or sort of end of the year tournament, the 128, and see which ones were kind of the best of the year. And then actually January 28th, he wanted to do it on the 27th, but I said, no, the Royal Rumble's on the 27th. Can't do that. So 28th will be our official podcast league now.
That's why I said we couldn't do the show tomorrow on Saturday, because I'm like, we got AEW.
We got AEW, brother. Can't do it.
Sorry.
So,
that's why I said no.
No, when he was proposing the dates, I looked up when the Royal Rumble was. I was like, nope, Royal Rumble night. Can't do that. Nope. Sorry. Not happening. So probably January 28th, that Sunday night, when we normally do like a Seen and Heard or something like that. Yeah, we'll officially do our podcast league now. Top 12 best of the year list. Most likely the same panel earlier. And yeah, JPO, if you want in on that as well, we'll get you in on that. We'll have a big,
that'd be dope. Yeah,
big round table, big panel of 5 people, but it'll be a lot of fun. It's our big wrap up end of the year show. So it'll be a big show, kind of a lengthy one, but we'll have a lot of fun doing that. So yeah, probably be same panel as we just had. Me, Richie, Wolfman, Jordan, and probably you, JPO. We'll get you in on that, and we'll have a little fun with that. So everybody can get their top 12 list of the year here at the end, because we all saw a lot of movies. And as we said on this show we did earlier tonight, it was a good year for movies, as long as you didn't just watch $200 million budget movies. So, you had to watch stuff other than that, and it was a good year. But yes. So yeah, that'll do it here for tonight for the Lonely Marks. So yeah, for JPO, for Richie, for Jacob Barber, we love you, buddy. We'll get see you next week, hopefully.
Love you.
And for me, Austin Pez Howell, we'll see you next time on the Lonely Marks. I don't have the meme on me. It is what it is. So